Welcome everybody to Intensity Broadcasting. My name is Josh Hall. This is the SCSRA Morris Customs Truck Series here on iRacing. We want to welcome you all for an exciting race here at the Tricky Triangle. We got about a minute left here in practice. Matthew Scott, currently the fastest truck on the track. Brian Earl Jr. and Cody Moore, your top three. Colin Williams and Matthew Fritz, your top five on the speed charts. Let's take a look at the points coming into tonight. And Cody Moore, currently your points leader, locked in with his win at Daytona. Jeffrey Belk sits back in second. Blaze Richardson in third. Brett Merle and Joey Hickox, your top five. Devin Bucciano back in sixth. Brian Merle Jr. in seventh. Then the tie for eighth place between Brian Boyd, Joe Wright, and Ryan Gomes, and Jay Stinson and Rick Ward, your top 12. As we get ready for qualifying to get underway, as Brian Merle Jr. parks it there at the end of the straightaway, let's take a look at what we're looking at here with the track. And again, the Tricky Triangle, you've got three different uniquely shaped turns. Not just that, are they different radiuses, they are different bankings, you have different straightaway lengths. It is a very tricky track that these drivers will have to navigate here tonight. You see the track temperature and the air temperature. So air temperature 79 degrees, 54% humidity. Track temperature is hot, 104 degrees out on the racetrack here tonight. So watch for that to come into play as we have Cody Moore making his way out onto the racetrack. So Pocono is really three different tracks merged into one. So turn one is banked at 14 degrees. And it is modeled after the old Trenton Speedway. Turn two, which we see Jeffrey Belk coming to right now, we call that the tunnel turn. That's based off of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as it's 8 degrees of banking. Then you come down this little straightaway here, which is almost a short chute. It's the shortest straightaway on the speedway. Turns towards turn three, which is 6 degrees of banking, and it's modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. So again, three different radiuses, three different bankings, three different turns, three different straightaways. Right now we're going down the Long Pond straightaway, which is the longest straightaway in NASCAR. 190 miles an hour down into turn number one, dropping down into third gear, about 130, 135 miles an hour on exit, down the backstretch towards the tunnel turn number two. Turn two, a couple of different ways you can attack it. Usually just roll off the throttle a little bit, let the truck settle, and then you can drive right on through. They call it the tunnel turn because underneath that's the tunnel into the infield. Then you come down the short chute here, shortest part of the racetrack, into turn number three. Very, very flat. We're going to get right down onto that rumple strip, another place where you can drop down the third gear. And you want to have that good run off the corner for that long run down the straightaway back towards turn number one. Cody Moore currently to the top of the leaderboard. Making his way through the tunnel turn down towards turn number three. Into turn number 3. There is no turn 4. That's why it is the tricky triangle down the straightaway and across the stripe. And Cody Moore, actually a little slower on that lap, runs a 55.45, so about a second of fall off on the first lap. See Rick Tillman up into the second position with a 54.93 on his first lap. See what he does here on his second lap. A 55.07, so another driver slower on their second lap. So these drivers are getting everything they can on their first lap. Colin Williams up into the second position on his first lap. Just ran a 54.73. And those times we saw in practice, there was drafting involved in that. Yes, drafting will be a huge part here, especially down the Long Pond straightaway and down into turn number 1. Colin Williams comes down across the stripe. And he runs a little bit slower for his second lap. Going to stay there in that second position. Matthew Fritz just jumped up into the third position in that 29 machine. And Eddie Moore's out there. New paint job for the 8 machine. Run that Dev Sports Cards paint job. Through the tunnel turn and down towards turn number 3. Down onto the Long Pond straightaway. Eddie Morris going to come across the stripe. His first lap's going to be good enough for second currently. Again, though, we've seen drivers fall off on their second lap. Here's Dave Wright. Letting that truck all hang out through turn number 1. Dave Wright goes down through the tunnel turn for the first time. Ooh, really sideways off the corner, but carrying a lot of speed down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Tries to get it down as close as he can to that yellow line to carry all the speed off of turn number 3 and down the Long Pond straightaway down towards the stripe. And Dave Wright's time is going to be good enough for P10. As Devin Butchino makes his way out onto the racetrack. 3-time SCSRA champion. Xfinity Series champion for Season 3, Truck Series 1 and 4. We are in the 5th season of the SCSRA Truck Series, so Devin Butchino trying to go back-to-back championships here. Down through the tunnel turn for the 68 machine. Down into turn number 3. Devin Butchino is going to go into the 5th position. Dave Wright's second lap was a little bit slower. Ran a 54.95 on his first lap, a 55.01 on his second lap. Devin Buchino here, catches the wall off of turn number 2. And that's going to pretty much do it here for his qualifying attempt, as we have about 2 minutes left here in qualifying. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, we want to thank all our great partners here, including our series sponsor, Morris Customs, for all your iRacing paint needs. Check out morriscustoms.com. Our tomorrow night sponsor as well, the Devs Sports Cards. You can check them out on eBay at Devs Sports Cards. Also, don't forget to check out our great partners here with Intensity, including Race EPI for all your iRacing setups and coaching needs. Visit raceepi.com, link down below in the description, as well as intensityracing.com for all your all your Intensity gear. Atlee Atman Weiss' racing gear is there, as well as, of course, we got some novelty t-shirts, even underwear. So check it out over at intensitybroadcasting.com. Again, link down below, down in the description. Of course, our great partner over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is an established and well-known leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is a new and upgraded sim racing haptic that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Of course, I love my Butt Kicker. It gives me that little extra bit of immersion. Helps you know when the tires are sliding, you get to feel the revs, the shifts, every bump in the track. Definitely a worthwhile investment. I just have a single one sitting on the back of my office chair because I race in an office chair. But if you've got a rig, you can hook it right onto your rig. You can put one on every corner if you want. Have 4 of them running together so you can feel each corner of your car. So for all your haptic needs, check out the link below down at thebuttkicker.com. Well, the trucks are getting onto pit road and getting ready to grid up here. And we'll take you through our starting lineup here tonight. Starting with your pole sitter tonight, the 52 of Cody Moore. Eddie Morris will roll off from the second position. Back in third, we'll find the 17 of Colin Willems, with Matthew Fritz in the 29 rolling off from the fourth position. Devin Buchino, he'll roll off from fifth, with Matthew Scott in the sixth position. Jay Stinson in the 31 roll off seventh, with Joey Hickox in the 3 machine rolling off from the 8th position. Ninth will be Rick Tillman in the 14, with Gannon Cyphers in the 2 rolling off from the 10th spot. Dave Wright will roll off 11th, with Brett Merle in the 11 machine rolling off from 12th. Matt Allen in the 127, he'll roll off 13th, with Brian Boyd in the Mission 22 machine from the 14th position. Brian Merle Jr. rolls off 15th, with Jeffrey Belk from the 16th position. Riley Gomes in the 9 rolls off 17th, with Ryan Gomes in the 55 from the 18th position. We'll find Charles Chucky Ballas back in row position number 19, and Ricky Ward. I'm sorry, it's Joe Wright in the 20th position. We'll find Rick Ward back here in 20th. Blaze Richardson from the 21st position. Joe Wright's going to start in 22nd. And then Braxton Zog in the 57 rolls off from the 23rd and final position. So we have no driver cams here tonight, but that's all right. So we're going to have an exciting race. Nevertheless, Cody Moore and Eddie Morris, your front row here as the pace truck gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. And we are green flag racing here at Pocono. Down into turn 1 for the first time. Cody Moore going to get the run down into the corner. He's going to jump up in front of Eddie Morris so he can arc that corner. Down into turn 1. Colin Williams going to take over that second position, leaving Eddie Morris sliding back into third. And here comes Devin Butchinow in the 4th position as well, making up 1 spot already into turn number 1. Here's where that draft really starts to come into play. As we can see, drivers are going to start fanning out. We're going to see them breaking the draft down the straightaways a little bit as well as they make their way through the tunnel turn for the first time. As they get through turn number 2 cleanly, and Cody Moore going to lead the field down into turn number 3. As they make their way off of turn number 4 for the long pound straightaway, here's where we're really going to see drivers starting to fan out. And Cody Moore is going to try to break the draft a little bit by running a little lower. Now back up against the wall. And again, the draft's going to play a huge part, especially trying to get down into turn number 1. See Matthew Fritz in that 29 machine. He's got the 35 of Matthew Scott right behind. As our leader is starting to pull away a little bit, Brian Boyd stuck down on the bottom. Now he's going to tuck in behind Jeffrey Belk. Jeffrey Belk already up 3 spots from where he started as Garen Cyphers takes a look down to the inside as they make their way off of turn number 2. And Belk is going to take that position away, move himself up into 12 as he sets his sights for the 11 of Brett Merle. Joseph Wright in the 82. Oh, just see Gomes bounce off the wall. That is the 55 of Ryan Gomes. Absolutely just smothered the outside wall. That's going to do a lot of damage to the right side of that machine. Of course, these drivers do have 1 reset, 1 fast repair in the garage. And looks like the 55 will definitely have to use his after that heavy contact with the outside wall. Aerodynamics are a huge part of the track here tonight. As we already see our top 3 pulling away from the rest of the field. Cody Moore's lead starting to grow a little bit over Kyle Williams, just over half a second. You see a little bit of shuffling a little further back in the pack. You see the 14 of Rick Tillman trying to make a move around Dave Wright. They're side by side off of turn number 1. Down into the tunnel turn, and Dave Wright's going to have that position. He's going to hold on to that 9th position for now. Just behind, though, we see Jeffrey Belk making his way to the back bumper of Rick Tillman and trying to make a move around that 14 machine. Turn 3 is not the place to try to make a move. Definitely want to try to get the run off of turn 3, get that good run down the front stretch, and try to make the pass down into turn 1. Turn 1 and 2, those are going to be your hot spots for passes tonight. Turn 3, nobody tries to pass off of turn number 3. You'll see that all night long tonight. Drivers trying to make smart moves, as we see Brian Boyd right there on the back bumper of Brett Merle. Trying to make a move down into turn number 1, see if he has the momentum off of turn 1. Try to make a move down into the tunnel turn. Just in front, we see Tillman trying to make another move here as Jeffrey Belk took a look to the inside, but knows that that's not the place to pass. He's going to tuck right in, try to get that good run off of turn number 4. to try to make the move again down into turn number 1. Butchino has the 29 of Matthew Fritz right there on the back bumper. Fritz now under attack from the 35 of Matthew Scott. And just behind we see a battle as the 3 of Joey Hickox is trying to make a move down underneath the 31 of Jay Stinson. These two are teammates, currently running back in 7th and 8th. Part of S&H Racing. And all 3 S&H Racing drivers in the top 10, with Matthew Fritz being the highest placing S&H driver right now, up in the 5th position. A strong showing for that team, the S&H Racing team. Currently running 5th, 7th, and 8th. One team, though, really putting on a show right now is Wasted Wages, with Cody Moore and Colin Willems 1 and 2. And Matthew Scott back in the 6th position. Cody Moore is going to tuck down to the inside. Do a little serpentine trying to break the draft of Colin Willems. Going to pull right back up in front. Colin is right there on the back bumper trying to take the lead away from Cody Moore. Eddie Morris right here in the mix as well. So your top 3 pulling away as Devin Butchino is almost 2 seconds behind in the 4th spot. Still has that mirror full of Matthew Fritz. Far these drivers staying in 4th gear. Have to ride along with Cody Moore to see if he's doing any shifting, as Eddie Morris taking a look down to the inside of Kyle Willems, and Eddie Morris going to take over that 2nd position. We ride along here with Cody Moore. Keeps that truck in 4th gear through turn number 3. Down this long hot straightaway. Again, the longest straightaway in NASCAR. Down into turn number 1. And so far, keeping that truck in 4th gear all the way around the track. Devin Butchino in trouble now. He's got that 29 machine right there on the back bumper. Fritz is doing everything he can to try to get around the 68 of Devin Butchino. Behind that, we've got a battle here between Dave Wright and Rick Tillman. Dave Wright able to get around the 14 machine, put himself into the 9th position. This is what we're going to see tonight. These trucks really spreading out through the field as Gannon Cyphers gets passed by the 41 of Chucky Balance. Back up front, let's show the speed here of Cody Moore. See, about 145 miles an hour through turn number 3, trying to get that good run down the front stretch. This long straightaway, the speed continues to climb. And on older tires, you're looking at about 180 miles an hour down into turn number 1. Down the short chute towards the tunnel turn. Climbing back up to 173, 74, 174, 75 miles an hour down through the tunnel turn. Just barely rolling out of it, enough to set the truck. Again, down into turn number 3. Jeffrey Belk all over the back bumper of Brian Boyd. He's got Brian Merle Jr. and Joe Wright right there as well. Oh, and Jr. caught the outside wall. He caught it hard. Here goes a couple drivers right on by as Joe Wright was able to avoid Jr. bouncing off the wall. Joe Wright's going to move up into the 14th position, but loses a ton of time to the 54 of Jeffrey Belk. And here comes the 31 of Jay Stinson trying to make a move on Matthew Scott. But Scott able to pull back away as Eddie Morris now has Colin Willems trying to run him back down. And the lead from Eddie Morris to Cody Moore is just about 0.7 of a second. And right now that lead is shrinking as Eddie Morris is able to use that draft to try to pull himself back up to the leader. Cody Moore able to get through turn 1 so much better than Eddie, back up to almost a second lead. And when they get back through the tunnel turn, that lead extends back up to 0.9 of a second. As they go through turn 3, Eddie Morris able to start to pull back up to Cody Moore using that draft off of turn number 3. Try to catch back up to Cody just a little bit. This side-by-side battle. This is a battle for the sixth position. As Jay Stinson just got around Matthew Scott. Matthew Scott tried to cross him back over, though. But Stinson's going to move solidly into that 6th position. Again, stage coming up pretty soon. The end of lap 20 will be the stage. Some of these guys towards the back are probably hoping the stage comes sooner than later because they're looking for tires, and a couple drivers even looking for some repairs, as here goes Jeffrey Belk by the 77 of Brian Boyd. Belk trying to run down the 11 of Brett Merle. See if he can get himself in a position to get at least one stage point here. as the top 10 will receive stage point. Here comes Brian Boyd, though, looking back down to the inside of Jeffrey Belk, and Belk's going to have to give that position back off of turn number 2. See if Belk's able to set another pass up down into turn number 1. This time, though, Boyd is right there on the back bumper of Brett Merle. He's going to take a look down to the inside of Merle. And Brian Boyd is going to take over that 11th position. Jeffrey Belk trying to find a way around the 11 of Brett Merle. Meanwhile, back up front, Colin Willems taking a look down to the inside of Eddie Morris. Morris, though, fighting back again hard on the outside. He's going to hold on to that second position. While that's going on, Devin Butchino trying to hold off the 29 of Matthew Fritz. Now Devin Butchino and Matthew Fritz have caught the second and third place drivers of Eddie Morris and Colin Willems. As Willems takes another run on the low side, but Eddie Morris is able to run that high lane, get the momentum off the corner for this long pond straightaway to stay out in front of Colin Willems. And we have just 2 laps left in the stage. And Butchino starting to push real hard, trying to catch Colin Willems. And that time by, Devin Butchino was the second fastest truck on the track. Matthew Fritz being the fastest as Colin Willems tries to retake that second position. Here comes Butchino and Fritz. Now Butchino looking down to the inside of Eddie Morris. Matthew Fritz trying to follow him right along. See some strategy coming into play as Joseph Wright made his way down on the pit road. As here comes Fritz trying to take a look down underneath Devin Butchino, but not close enough to make that happen. As we are on the last lap of the stage, Cody Moore out in front by 2.5 seconds. Colin Willems trying to hold off Eddie Morris and Devin Butchino as Butch takes a look down to the inside of Eddie Morris, trying to take away that third position. Matthew Fritz trying to follow him through. Down into turn number 3, Devin Butchino trying to get the nose out in front of Eddie Morris. Coming across the stripe, Cody Moore is going to get the stage win. Colin Willems is going to finish second. Devin Butchino is going to finish 4th, just behind Eddie Morris, who finishes in 3rd, and Matthew Fritz will finish 5th in the stage. Stinson in 6th. Matthew Scott back in 7th. Joey Hickox back in 8th. Rick Tillman 9th, and Dave Wright gets the final stage point. But Cody Moore getting those 10 stage points, as well as that important playoff point here tonight. As he makes his way around to catch the pace car. Field all catching up to the pace car here, or pace truck, as he makes his way off of turn number 2. And let's get a word with our stage winner, Cody Moore. Cody, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
Man, great run for you here. Dominating performance here in the first stage. Talk about the track out there. It seemed like the track was pretty racy for you.
Yeah, I feel pretty good at this track. I put some practice laps in. I think I'm really kind of weak in turn 1, but short shoot in turn 3, I seem to be gaining on the field and pulling away a little more. But yeah, hopefully I'll keep the domination up here and get a win and get wasted wages of some points here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. You were giving up a little bit in turn 1, but sometimes you kind of have to do that to make sure the other 2 turns work for you. So great run for you here tonight, and good luck the rest of the way out. Try to keep those boys behind you. One question, though, I did notice nobody's shifting yet. Are we going to see some shifting later on the run, you think, or are these trucks just geared in a way that shifting doesn't make sense?
Yeah, I think the gearing is a little wonky. Fourth gear is really low, so you feel like you want to shift, but if you shift into third, you've barely got anything to work with.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for the heads up, and good luck the rest of the race out.
10-4. Thanks, Josh.
So that was your stage winner, Cody Moore, as the field makes their way down on the pit road. And we will see the entire field make their way down on the pit road. And ooh, sounds like we had some issues here in the back as one driver got run over from behind coming on the pit road. Tough pit road to get onto. After we take a look at the race off of pit road here, we'll see what happened. Joe Wright staying out on the racetrack. Of course, he pit just before. Oh, Eddie Morris turned around in his pit stall. Still trying to get himself situated in the pits. And Eddie Morris is going to lose a ton of time on pit road here. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened to not just Eddie Morris, but I think it was Brian Boyd coming onto pit road here. See Jeffrey Belk right behind the 77. Oh, just a big checkup. Everybody kind of checked up, and Boyd, fortunately, able to keep it off of the barriers there, so that's huge. Now let's see if we can see what happened to Eddie Morris coming down into his pit stall. Getting long pit road, and oh, Eddie just locked up the rears there and then tried to get it backed up into his stall and just was not able to get the angle right and lost a ton of time on pit road, falls all the way back into the 10th position. So Eddie Morris is going to have a lot of work to do to get himself back up towards the front. As Cody Moore continues to stay out, and looks like Joseph Wright did come down pit road, so he did get a point there for Neil. I'm not sure what's happening to Joe Wright on the backstretch here, pulling down. And looks like he's going to lose a lap here. Not really sure what's going on here with the 82, but as the field comes by to put the 82 truck one lap down. Looks like he's on the tail end of the lead lap here. So when we get the one to go, he'll be able to go around and or not. I'm not really sure what's going on right now with Joe Wright. Thought maybe he'd be in front of Cody Moore, going to take the wave around when the lights on the pace truck go off. We'll have to see here when we come to the one to go if Joe Wright gets the wave around or if he has to fall all the way to the tail end of the field. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night as Atlee Atman Weiss has the call for the SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Next Gen Series here on Intensity. As we take on Bristol Motor Speedway. That's going to be an exciting race on the short track, and we see Joe Wright having to park it there on the bottom. It looks like he may be retiring from the race. We'll have to see what's going on with the 82. Eddie Morris back on pit road, coming to top off fuel. He was in the back of the pack anyway, so he figures he might try to make a little strategy out of it. Colin Willems going to be on the inside as Cody Moore chose the outside for the restart. And as always, exciting restarts here at Pocono, as we will see as soon as the drivers come across the start-finish line, we will see these drivers spread out and fan out down towards turn number one, and it is official, Joe Wright has retired from the race. So we take the green flag. We'll have just 40 laps to go here at Pocono. Again, Cody Moore up on the high side. Oh, lights are back on the pace truck. So we're going to go one more lap before we go back at green flag racing. Looks like somebody may not have been in the position they were supposed to be. That's going to give a couple drivers an opportunity to come back down pit road and top off. We see Brian Merle Jr., Eddie Morris, Ryan Gomes Jr. and Gomes, both a lot of damage to the right side of that truck. Looks like they're going to see if they can get a little bit more damage fixed up, maybe. Or I know they're not going to hold. They're going to hold on to that reset just a little bit longer. Another interesting thing about the pit road here is it is up and downhill. The elevation change on pit road is kind of something that messes with you. But you can see that big bump right there around pit stop numbers 9 and 10. And because of that hill, you can actually accidentally speed on pit road and not even realize it, thinking you're holding a speed, and the pace car or the pace speed can really mess with you. See, sorry if I say this wrong, but Lahoma Randall says, "Hi everybody, got a large group watching on my phone. Thanks for joining us here." How many is a large group? 5, 10, 20? Let me know. How big is a large group? I need to inflate my numbers here. So here we go. The lights on the pace truck are back off. We're going to get ready to go back. Green flag racing. Again, Cody Moore choosing the outside, or as the Canadians would say, outside here at Pocono. Only one Canadian in the field tonight, and that is the 17 of Colin Willems. Got 10 people watching on his phone, so there we go. So instead of 11 people watching, we actually have 20 people watching, so it makes me feel a little bit better. But here we go. Pace truck getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. And Cody Moore on the outside will restart in the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. And we are back to racing here at Pocono. And side by side, here they go, fanning out down into turn number one. Cody Moore all alone on that high side. Kyle Wolf tucked down in front of Matthew Scott. And that is your 3 wasted wages drivers Cody Moore, Colin Williams, Matthew Scott running 1, 2, 3. Just behind Matthew Fritz in a battle with Brett Merle as they come down the backstretch or towards turn number 2. Merle's going to have the advantage through the tunnel turn as they continue to run side by side. Turn number 3. Caution out on the racetrack, and it looks like, not sure who was involved in that one. It looks like Rick Ward may have been caught up in that one a little bit, along with Brian Boyd and that 77 does not look happy right now. Looks like he is on a mission to find somebody. It's going to bring up our first wreckage rewind of the night. So we try to take a look to see what brought out this caution. I believe Brian Boyd was looking for the 84 of Dave Wright as they go down into the tunnel turn. Wright drifts up the track just a little bit, comes up into the left rear quarter panel of Brian Boyd. And a little bit of contact there. Not sure who else was involved in that, but Boyd comes back down across the track. And, ooh, hard impact. There it is for it was Rick Ward with the inside wall there. And that was Matt Allen that got a little piece of that as well. Homa says they're going to Bluetooth the phone to the TV. Absolutely. Or if you have the app, you can YouTube this as well, right on your TV screen. See a bunch of drivers making their way down pit road. The back half of the field coming down pit road this time, led by Joey Hickox, Riley Gomes, Gan Cyphers, Matt Allen, D. Wright, Eddie Morris back down pit road, Riley Gomes, Brian Boyd, Brian Merle Jr., Blaze Richardson, Rick Ward, Braxton Zog. So a bunch of drivers making their way down pit road just to get topped up on fuel. We'll see if they can try to stretch it a little bit to the end. So under caution for the third time tonight. Second time for incident. Actually, first time for incident, excuse me. First caution was for the stage. As the field makes their way around one more time under caution. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch, it does mean a lot to us. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Check out our partners down below as well, including Race EPI for all your setups and coaching needs. Check out our web store over at intensitybroadcasting.com. You can find not just intensity gear, but some league gear as well. The SCSRA has some t-shirts, hats, stickers. You can also check out our novelty t-shirts, Atlee Atman and Weese's racing gear, as well as a couple other racers that race down in the south with Atlee. And don't forget to check out our great partner over at Butt Kicker. If you're looking for that extra little immersion. Check out thebuttkicker.com for all your gaming haptic needs. Butt Kicker is a really neat piece of hardware. I have one attached to my office chair. Lets me feel when I lock up the tires, when the tires start to slide, every gear shift, every bump, every rev. It really adds that little bit of immersion, especially since I race in VR. So it really gives me that extra little feeling that I'm in the car. You can also run two of them, one in the front, one in the rear, so you can feel the difference between the front tires and rear tires sliding or locking. Or you can even run four of them if you have a nice little rig that supports that, and you can feel each and every corner of the race car. So if you're a sim racer and you're looking for that little bit of edge, check out thebuttkicker.com. Not just do they have racing haptics, though, they also have haptic hardware that you can put in or around your couch for watching movies, listening to music, so you can feel what's going on. Definitely that 4D, if you will, experience. So a lot of options that you can find there over at The Butt Kicker. There is a link down below in the description. Well, Cody Moore is going to restart this time on the inside. He's got Kyle Willems to his outside as the pace truck gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn down onto pit road. Green flags back in the air. Kyle Willems trying to tuck down in front of his wasted wages teammate Matthew Scott. And he will down into turn number one. Devin Buccino trying to get around Scott up on the high side as they make their way through turn number one. And Devin Buccino is going to solidly take over that third position with the 11 of Brett Murrell following him right through. So Neon teammates, take that back. Brett Murrell's no longer a Neon teammate. He's on Murrell Racing. So former teammates making their way around the wasted wages driver Matthew Scott. How about Jeffrey Belk? Up in 9 positions and not have a very good qualifying position here tonight. Making his way through the field, currently up into the 7th position. And slowly trying to make his way back up towards the front. He is the last year's Xfinity's champion. And you see the 29 of Matthew Fritz taking a look down underneath Matthew Scott now. As they're door-to-door through turn number one. And Fritz has the inside advantage going down into the tunnel turn. His teammate, the 31, Jay Stitzen, right there on Jeffrey Belk's door. And just behind them, we see the, Scott up into the outside wall. Heavy contact for the driver of the 35 as he continues to fall back through the field. And it's so easy to do, get caught up on the high side and just slide up into the wall. We've seen it a couple times here tonight. We just saw it again. And here comes Chucky Ballas. Having a great run now up in the top 10. Trying to work around the inside. Oh, Jeffrey Belk gets turned. Contact outside wall. Caution is out. That's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. Trying to get a good view of the incident here. And this looks like it might have been a bit of netcode. As we see the 14 of Tillman right there on the inside quarter panel. Does not make contact though, and Jeffrey Belk goes right around. And Jeffrey Belk's teammate, the 41 of Ballas, is involved in that as well. And the 3 of Hickox caught up in this one. And for those of you who've don't know much about iRacing, what netcode is these drivers are all racing each other from different parts of the country. Sometimes the sim thinks that one driver is in one position when he's in another, and they make invisible contact. So it's basically the sim doing the best job it can, trying to predict where the cars are going to be. And when you have two drivers who are possibly on opposite sides of the country, netcode can easily happen. Unfortunately, it's a part of online racing. I know it's not what Jeffrey Belk wanted to see or have happen, or he might think that he was intentionally turned there, but when he goes back and watches the replay, he'll see a different story there, as the entire field now making their way back down pit road. Oh no! Cody Moore, Colin Willems, Devin Butchino stay out. Brett Merle, first driver to come down pit road. We see Chucky Ballas and Gan Cyphers staying out. I thought Chuck might have had a little bit of damage to that machine, and through the magic of iRacing, we can actually take a look at this truck on all corners. It looks like that truck is in good shape, so looks like he will be able to continue on without incident. So next week we're going to have a couple trucks sporting some patriotic themes for Memorial Day, where we honor our fallen veterans, our fallen servicemen and women. We'll have two great races next week. The Doghouse Racing League will be off, but the Morris Customs Truck Series next week will take on Kansas Speedway, followed by the Dev Sports Cards Next Gen Series. We'll be taking on Atlanta Motor Speedway. And it's the old Atlanta, not the new super speedway style. So the slick, hot, rough on tires Atlanta that everybody knows and loves. So as we continue to pace around here, the lights on the pace truck have just gone off. We're going to re-rack them, restack them, and refire them this time. Cody Moore going to choose the outside this time of Colin Willems. Devin Butchino and Matthew Fritz back in row number 2. Jay Stinson and Charles Ballas back in row... Charles Chucky Balance back in row number 3. Gannon Cyphers and Joey Hickox back in row 4, and then Dave Wright and Blaze Richardson up to row number 5. A lot of damage to the right side of that 84 machine. So we'll have to see how much Dave Wright's able to keep up here with that heavy right side damage. Speaking of damage, a couple drivers who were caught up in an earlier incident. We see Ryan Gomes, has not got that damage fixed on his truck, so he's still hanging towards the rear, holding off on that reset. Jeffrey Belk did use his reset. We see he's got a fresh truck. You see all the scrape marks on the side of that 55. Oh, Brian Merrill Jr., did he get his truck fixed up yet, or is he still rocking that big stripe on the right side? Easy way to find out. We can see, yep, you see all the scrapes on the right side of that 13 machine. So it looks like the left front is scraped up a little bit as well. So and you see the crinkle in the hood. So that 13 has hit a few things tonight. Here we go. Pace truck down on the pit road. Green flag is back in the air. Another great jump for Cody Moore. Colin Williams, though, staying right there with him. He's going to tuck now in line as they come down into turn number 1. We're starting to really see the drivers fan out here on these restarts towards the rear of the field. Joey Hickox and Charles Balance. Balance side by side, door to door. Oh, caution is out. We got 2 trucks spinning to the inside. It's Eddie Morris and Braxton Zog. As we take a look to see what happened here. See Jeffrey Belk on the high side. Looks like Zog may have got a little tight there. Let off the throttle to try to settle the truck, and Eddie Morris is not expecting that. Runs into the back of the 57. Both drivers making hard contact with the inside safer barrier. As the pace truck collects the field coming off of turn number 1. So Pocono Raceway, also known as the Tricky Triangle, it's located in the Pocono Mountains, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And it has the longest straightaway in NASCAR. As I mentioned, the Long Pond straightaway, the front stretch. Track opened in 1968. And it's held races across many different series, including IndyCar, the IROC series, the NASCAR, ARCA, the old K&N series. We got some SCSRA racing and Trans Am on the road course here. We see the field making their way back down pit road. See if we can watch the race off pit road this time. And we see it's like Matthew Scott, the first driver off pit road. Brian Boyd, Cody Moore, Jeffrey Belk, Colin Williams, Rick Ward, Ryan Gomes. And a bunch of drivers also decided to stay out, including Devin Buccino, Matthew Fritz, Jay Stinson, Joey Hickox, Chucky Balance, Dave Wright, Riley Gomes, Brian Merle Jr., Brett Merle, so Braxton Zog. So a bunch of drivers deciding to stay out. We see a bunch of different pit strategies as well. A couple drivers taking tires. So Matthew Scott, Brian Boyd took fuel only. Cody Moore, Colin Williams both took 4 tires. Jeffrey Belk took fuel only. So a mixed bag of pit strategy here. So even though it's a long track, 2.5 miles, you do see the speeds do tend to be on the lower side due to the tight, low-banked corners. That doesn't mean we haven't seen some horrific crashes here at Pocono. We've seen Kenny Schrader loses brakes down into turn number 1. Ended up flipping over on his side. Jeff Gordon lost brakes down into turn number 1. We see Bubba Wallace lose brakes down into turn number 1, plow the outside wall through turn 1. See Casey Kane get turned around on the backstretch and up into the catch fence. Actually, there was no catch fence at that time. As you see these drivers coming down this backstretch, this is actually a new fence that was installed here after that incident, where Casey Kane actually ended up catching those trees there on the other side of the fence. Also, you see the safer barriers on the right there. Those were added due to Elliott Sadler's crazy crash where he caught, it's not even on camera, but he caught the inside barrier so hard that the engine separated from the car and was thrown back across the track. So of course we can't forget the tragic loss of Justin Wilson here at Pocono Raceway. Justin was an avid iRacer, ran with him out here many a times, and unfortunately succumbing to injuries here when a nose cone broke off one of the Indy cars and struck him in the head. And that's one of the reasons why the Indy Racing League has moved on to the windscreen to try to avoid such incidents in the future. But here we go, pace truck back on pit road. Green flag back in the air. Devin Butchno this time gets the jump on the start. Matthew Fritz almost caught sleeping as Joey Hickok's trying to make a move on the high side. Here comes Jay Stinson down into turn 1 as well. We have just 25 laps to go. Brett Merle, a little bit newer tires, trying to use that high lane, trying to get around Dave Wright. He's going to complete the pass on the outside of turn number 1. That's not something you normally see here at Pocono. Move himself up into the top 5, and he's going to set his sights on the 31 of Jay Stinson. Further back, we see Eddie Morris, who was just caught up in that incident, caught behind some slower cars, was running up front. Him and Jeffrey Belk were able to move their way back up to the front, but right now they're in a lot of traffic way back. Currently about 6 seconds behind the lead group. Hoping to get some strategy to get themselves back up towards the front. Matthew Scott making his way around the 55 of Ryan Gomes. And we see Colin Willems, nope, I'm sorry, that's Cody Moore also making his way around Gomes. So Cody way back in the 12th position. Here comes Colin Willems as well. So some strategy working out for where our front runners before that last caution came out. Dave Wright trying to hold off Rick Tillman as they come through the tunnel turn and onto the short chute towards turn number 3. Tillman able to close right up on the back bumper, but Dave Wright able to pull him off the corner and get that good run down the straightaway to keep that 14 behind. But here comes Tillman taking a look down to the inside, trying to outbrake him down into turn number 1, much like you'd see on a road course. Dave Wright's going to wisely let him right on by. Up front for the lead, battle between Devin Butchno and Joey Hickox. They were just door-to-door leading on each other through turn number 1. And Joey's teammate there, 29 Matthew Fritz right there in the mix. And Jay Stinson as well, so all three of those drivers is the, I don't want to get the team name wrong. That is the S&H Racing, currently running 2, 3, 4. Trying to get them a win, as we see 3 out of our top 5 and 4 out of our top 6 are all rookies here in the series. Leaders are coming up on the lap truck of Braxton Zog. We'll have to see where Zog goes, see where they catch him. They might catch him on the straightaway here, which would be the most ideal place to catch the 57. As he's going to tuck right down. It looks like he's going to hit pit road to get out of the way of the leaders. Wise call for the driver of the 57. Well, further back, we see Matt Scott taking a look down underneath Dave Wright. This is a battle for the 10th position. And Dave Wright falling back a little bit. He's got Cody Moore now on the back bumper as they come off of turn number 1. And ooh, Dave Wright got really loose there off of turn number 1. Almost came across Cody Moore's nose. Cody was able to hold on to it as this battle continues here between Matthew Scott and Blaze Richardson. Ryan Merle Jr. here in the mix as well. Jr. had such good speed through practice. Got caught up early as Cody Moore trying to make it 3 wide down into the tunnel turn, and he's going to make it work. Colin Willems trying to follow through. Colin makes some contact with Blaze Richardson. Oh, they go around Colin. Dave Wright turns Colin Willems around on the pit road. Caution is out. Oh, hard contact for the driver of the 17. Blaze Richardson, some heavy damage to that 33 machine. That brings out another wreckage rewind. So this actually starts back a little bit with Cody Moore making it 3 wide down into the tunnel turn, which catches Richardson off a little bit. It looks like Colin Willems got down into the grass. I take that back. Colin Willems got down into the grass, slid up the track into the 33 machine, and both drivers just trying to struggle for grip at that point. See Brian Boyd able to avoid it, to get right on through. Unfortunately for Dave Wright with nowheres to go as Colin Willems slides up the track. And then Dave Wright just gets into the back of the 17 and sends Willems sliding down into the inside wall on pit road. And now our leaders making their way down on the pit road. And let's jump on the roof cam here with Devin Butchino. As you can see the undulation here on pit road. You see that hill right there on the left side of the screen. Really easy to speed on pit road because of the elevation of the pit road right here. As you see Butchino getting his tires and fuel. He is down and away. So let's take you through the field here. Matt Scott, currently your leader, last on pit road on lap 39. He took fuel only. Cody Moore also on pit road, last on lap 39, also taking fuel only. Brian Boyd back on 38, taking fuel only, along with Gant Cyphers back on 39, taking fuel only. Rick Tillman, he was on 46, just came in on pit road. Fuel only for the driver of the 14 machine. You find Brett Merle also just came. These are all the drivers that just came down pit road. Brett also looks like he took 2 tires with a 9-second pit stop. Matt Allen taking fuel only. Jeffrey Belk, fuel only, along with Eddie Morris, fuel only. Then we got Joey Hickox, first driver to take 4 tires. Devin Butchino also taking 4 tires. Matthew Fritz, Colin Willems, Jay Stinson all taking 4 tires. Blaze Richardson taking fuel only. He was damaged, though. That's why he took a little while to get back to his pit stall. Colin Willems taking 4 tires and fuel. Chucky Balance also taking 4 tires and fuel. Brian Merle Jr. 4 tires and fuel. So most of the field from 10th on back on new tires. The front half of the field, though, all on old tires and fuel only to make it to the end of the race. This is about to get wild. Matthew Scott going to take the outside lane on his teammate Cody Moore. Ryan Boyd, Gan Cyphers back in row 2. The lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Here we go. Pace truck, getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn. Down on the pit road, Matthew Scott going to lead him down to the Geico restart zone. Eddie Morris thought he was getting a good jump there. Green flag back in the air, and Matthew Scott getting a great jump. Oh, contact. Brian Boyd up in the air, hard into the inside wall. More drivers scattering. Caution is out. Not sure what just happened there. I saw Brian Boyd's truck in the air. It looks like a little bit of contact between him and Brett Merle, and yeah, it looks like a couple tires made contact with each other, and that sends the 77 sliding down to the inside wall. Man, great job of avoidance there for Tillman. And we see that's Colin Willems getting some damage running into the back of Gomes. That's the 55 of Ryan Gomes, and just more drivers making some contact from behind, but just tough break for Brian Boyd there. It didn't really look like it was intentional. Let's see if we can get a better view here from the right front here. Right here on the roof cam here. This will tell a really good story. See Brett Merle here on the high side. And yeah, you see Boyd Boyd does come up the track into the 11. I don't know if he just didn't know that Brett was there or not, but fortunate set of circumstances for the 77 of Brian Boyd. Well, we are coming to 15 laps to go. Eddie Morris down on pit road. Along with Rick Ward and Brian Boyd all on pit road. Matthew Scott having a little connection issue right there. Saw that in the Doghouse Racing League. Where one of the drivers was running up front and ended up losing connection and dropping out of the race. Well, so far only one driver has retired from the race, and that is the 82 of Joe Wright. Matthew Scott continuing to lead over Wasted Wages teammate Cody Moore, who runs back in second. We'll find Brett Merle and Gannon Cyphers, two of the Merle Racing teammates, back in row number 2. Jeffrey Belk and Rick Tillman back in row 3. Reverse those positions. Tillman is in 5th and Belk is in 6th. We find Matt Allen and Joey Hickox back in row 4. Then row 5, Devin Butchino on the inside and Matthew Fritz on the high side. So there you go, pace truck, getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Matthew Scott choosing the outside lane yet again over teammate Cody Moore. Green flag back in the air. We are back racing here at Pocono. Another great jump for Matthew Scott. Able to hold off Cody Moore going down into turn number 1. Just 13 laps to go. You see Brett Merle trying to make a move on Cody Moore. Brett's got 2 tires. He's got 2 fresher tires than Cody does. And then we see Jeffrey Belk right behind as well. Although Belk's getting a challenge now from the 3 of Joey Hickox down into the tunnel turn. Hickox still has that position down into turn number 3. Jeffrey Belk, though, has the high lane off the corner. He may be able to get a good run off the corner as he pinches down Hickox, and Hickox is going to have to tuck in behind the 54 of Belk. And now Belk's going to be able to set sights on the 11 of Brett Merle. Just 12 laps to go. Field's starting to get single file right now as the laps wind down. Jeffrey Belk now has another challenge from Hickox, trying to take a look down to the inside, but Hickox wasn't close enough to make that move happen, so he's going to stay tucked in line. Meanwhile, we have a yellow flag on the track. Big wreck. Oh no, Eddie Morris caught up in this one again. We see Rick Ward, Dave Wright involved. Looks like Matt Allen got a little piece of that as well. As we take a look to see exactly what happened here, it looks little contact there between Dave Wright and Matt Allen. Allen makes a contact with the inside wall, trying to slow down, and comes back across the track and catches Eddie Morris. Dave Wright involved as well, and tough break for a lot of drivers, especially drivers like Eddie Morris, who was trying to get their way back through the field. Unfortunately for him, just caught up in another one. A lot of damage to the front end of that truck. Probably going to have to come down pit road, but he might have a little bit of damage to the radiator. And if he does have damage to the radiator or any of the oil lines there, that could be detrimental to the finish of his race. So again, the fake out on the pit road by Matthew Scott and Cody Moore. A couple drivers do come down pit road. We see Gann Cyphers coming down pit road, Ryan Gomes, Rick Ward, Eddie Morris, D. Wright. A couple of the drivers who were caught up in that wreck, as well as Gannon. I think Gannon might be coming down. He might have a set of tires left in the pits here. We'll have to see what he does here, if it's fuel only or if there's tires here for him. Yep, tires for the 2 truck. That's going to make things interesting here on the last run, especially if we can stay green for the duration of this final run to the checkers. Trying to get some information to see what happened to Joe Wright, but it doesn't look like he's responding to me, so we'll see if he posts back here in a moment. So lights are off on the pace truck. We're getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. So Matthew Scott taking the outside lane yet again. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence in the chat says, pick the fine race to miss. Guess the driver's mimicking my local highway now. It's a tough track to master. It is a tough track to master. It's, again, one of my favorite tracks to run, but it is a tough track to master as there are 3 completely unique corners. Again, all 3 corners banked differently, radius differently. Turn 1 modeled after Trenton Speedway at 14 degrees. Turn 2 mimics the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with 8 degrees of banking. Turn 3 modeled after the Milwaukee Mile, just 6 degrees of banking. So 3 totally different corners, 3 totally different straightaway lengths, especially having the Long Pond straightaway, the longest straightaway, 3,740 feet down to turn number 1. As the green flag comes back in the air, we have just 8 laps of racing left. Matthew Scott, another great jump on teammate Cody Moore down into turn number 1. Jeffrey Belk fighting on the outside of Brett Merle as they make their way down to turn number 1. Everybody jockeying for position in the back portion of the track, and Matt Scott holds on to that point. Brett Merle's turned on the speed, though, as Cody Moore now takes a look down to the inside. Here comes Jeffrey Belk, also looking to the inside of Belk. And here comes Devin Butchino trying to force it 3 wide down into the tunnel turn. Cody Moore, Matthew Scott side by side for the lead. Jeffrey Belk trying to push Cody along. Brett Merle up on the high side of Cody. Matthew Scott still able to be out in front of Cody Moore just a little bit. Cody really pounds it into turn at number 3. And Jeffrey Belk catches the rumple strips a little bit. Just shoves his truck up the track. A lot of banging behind, but we're able to stay green flag racing. Just 7 laps to go. Matthew Scott still on the high side. We know that Cody Moore has not had a very good run down into turn number 1. That's where he's been losing all of his time. But this time he's able to pull out in front of Matthew Scott and retake the lead. Here comes Jeffrey Belk door to door with Brett Merle as they come down the short chute towards the tunnel turn. Devin Butchino now trying to force it 3 wide. Going to tuck it back in behind Belk. Belk's going to hold on to that 3rd position for now. Here comes Butch, though, up on the high side into turn number 3, and Belk's going to have to give that position up. We are now just 6 laps to go. Devin Butchino taking a look down on his old teammate, Brett Merle. Trying to capture that final podium position. Off of turn number 1. Merle's got the advantage here on the high side. And that's going to cause Devin Butchino to tuck in behind as they travel down to the tunnel turn. When they come across the stripe this time, it will be just 5 laps to go. Now Brett looking down to the inside of Matthew Scott, trying to take over the 2nd position as they come off of turn number 2. A little further back and more great racing back here. Colin Willems, Eddie Morris, Brian Merle Jr. These drivers all try to get their way back up towards the front as well. Meanwhile, Brett Merle and the 35 of Scott continue to run door-to-door, side-by-side, down the stretch towards the tunnel turn, turn number 2. Butchino has been able to clear Brett Merle. Now he's going to challenge Matthew Scott for that 2nd position. While all this battle is going on in Cody Moore's mirror, he's loving it as these trucks are getting smaller and smaller behind him the more that they run side by side. Look at this gaggle of trucks here coming off of turn number 3. 3 wide racing for a moment. Tucked back into 2 wide racing. There's a little bump drafting going on between drivers. And they're going to be 3 wide down into turn number 1. Joey Hickox down to the bottom. Brett Merle in the middle. It's the 31 Stinson up on the high side as he wisely rolls out of it. Almost some contact there between Hickox and Merle. They are still 3 wide down off of turn number 2. The 29 of Matthew Fritz trying to push it. Here goes. I think we just lost Brett Merle. Hickox hard into the outside wall. Gomes make some contact, and Brett just went for a ride. And I'm not really sure what just happened right there. See the 29 trying to give a shove to the 3 as they make their way down towards the corner. Oh, the 3 comes up just to try to give a little side draft there, and they make some contact. And then, yikes. That is, this is one of those weird things that happens in iRacing. Let's ride along with Brett Merle to see exactly what he saw here. Is for some reason the truck just flew backwards through the air. And reset back in pit road. Very strange. It looks like Brett Merle is on pit road. Look at the damage to that machine. This is going to set ourselves up a green, white checker. And Cody Moore comes down pit road. So doesn't Matthew Scott, Blaze Richardson, Ryan Gomes, Joey Hickox all down pit road. And I don't think Cody had enough fuel to make it to the end. I don't think Scott did either. Let's see if it's fuel only for these drivers or if they're going to put tires on them. Yeah, we see tires going on both these trucks. A tough break for Cody Moore. Hey, Doggy says, gotta love the glitches. I haven't seen that glitch happen in years. I mean, that was a couple of cars used to do that almost religiously. The Indy cars, the old Riley DPs back in the day. Was now the ARCA cars used to do it from time to time. The reason for it's very odd. Just the suspension breaks in such a way that the coating just miscalculates the torque and sends the car flying. The old IndyCar dances. You're right. You know, I'm glad I didn't have VR back in the day, because there was a time where I was in an IndyCar wreck and that thing flipped over for about 5 minutes. And because it kept flipping and the car kept moving, I couldn't reset it. And again, iRacing's nowhere near perfect, but no sim is. Every sim, every racing game has its nuances and its glitches. And fortunately, that's one of the few that we don't really see all that often anymore. And I mean, those who've been on the sim long enough can remember the old popcorn physics. You'd get in a wreck and every single truck would take off, or every single car would take off the ground and start flipping around and going crazy. And we don't see those as much anymore. The cars pretty much stay on the ground these days. So it's come a very, very long way in the 13 years that I've been here on iRacing. Again, you're always going to have racing online with people. You're always going to have those netcode incidents. You're always going to have those strange little glitches like we just saw right there. That's a part of the game. You know, nothing's ever going to be perfect. If you can find a perfect simulation, then, you know, they just don't happen. Even the top teams simulations, the F1 teams and stuff like that, they have glitches in their software all the time as well. So just a part of sim racing. So here we go. We're going to have ourselves a green-white checker with Devin Buccino, your leader, going to choose the high side. Jeffrey Belk on the low side. Then row 2, we'll find Rick Tillman and Jay Stinson. Matthew Fritz and Brian Reynolds Jr. having a great rebound up into the 6th position. How about Chucky Balance back in position number 8 with Matt Allen back there as well. So pace truck down onto pit road. Green flag flies. We are back racing here at Pocono. Can Devin Buccino hold off the hard-charging Jeffrey Belk? We know these two have had history racing for championships last year. We'll see how the racing continues, as these two are very, very familiar with how each other races. Jay Stinson and Rick Tillman, a couple rookies back in row, are battling for the final podium position. Just like Dan Cypher's up in the outside wall, riding that wall, falling backwards, so he's going to fall all the way back into the 15th position as the field makes their way through turn number 3. Now, if the field takes the white flag, the yellow flag will be put away as they come off of turn number 4. Devin Buccino takes the white flag. 1 lap to go. This race will finish under green. Jay Stinson now taking a look down to the inside of Jeffrey Belk, trying to take over that 2nd position. Brian Merle Jr. right there as well, trying to make something happen. Jr. having a great run as Tillman takes a look down to the inside, crosses him over down the short chute towards the tunnel turn. Cody Moore well out in front as Jeffrey Belk continues to try to hold off Jay Stinson in that 31 machine as they come down the short chute towards turn number 3. Devin Buccino solidly out in front to the checkered flag. Jeffrey Belk gets turned, coming across the stripe. Brian Merle Jr. is going to finish 2nd. Matthew Fritz comes home in 3rd. Jay Stinson 4th, and Eddie Morris brings it back across the line in 5th. As Devin Buccino gets the win, and let's take a look at what just happened here to Jeffrey Belk. Yeah, it looks like Stinson maybe just tried to keep it off the wall. Belk was trying to pinch up a little bit. Stinson came down a little bit. I chalked it up to a racing deal. And how about Brian Merle Jr., right place at the right time, comes home P2. As Devin Buccino brings it down to the front stretch where he's going to celebrate his victory here. Slides it right there. Going to get that picture taken. As our top 3 come down to the start-finish line and get ready for their picture here. And we are going to take a look at the final results. As Devin Buccino gets the win, Brian Merle Jr. brings it home 2nd. Matthew Fritz comes home 3rd. Jay Stinson and Eddie Morris, your top 5. Rick Tillman, 6th place finish. Matt Allen, Chucky Balance in 8th. Cody Moore and Brian Boyd round out your top 10. Matthew Scott brings it home 11th. 12th was Colin Willems. Ricky Gomes back in 13th. Blaze Richardson, Jeffrey Belk finishes in the 15th position. Gan Cyphers comes home 16th. Rick Ward back in 17th. Riley Gomes back in the 18th position. 19th was Dave Wright and Braxton Zog round out your top 20. Brett Merle, Joey Hickox, and Joseph Wright round out the rest of the field here tonight at Pocono. As we get ready to talk to our top three. And we will get the camera view all set up for these drivers here as we will talk with our third place finisher, Matthew Fritz first. Give me just a second as my there we go. My mouse was acting up for a second. I apologize for the delay here as we get ready to talk to our top three. Starting with our third place finisher, Matthew Fritz. Matt, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, great run for you here tonight, coming home P3. Up front for most of the race, highest finishing rookie here tonight as well. A good showing for the SNH boys here. No, a lot of comments here from your fans out there, but man, great run, great strategy. Talk about the race there, especially towards the end there. The strategy to come down and take 4 tires on lap 46. I think that might have been the podium move for you.
Yes, it was. We were hoping that the fresh tires would have come out and last, and we were good on fuel, so we were just running it out. But I also want to apologize to the 35. And early in the race, I kind of doored him in the turn 2, and it kind of shot him to the wall. So I want to apologize to him.
Yeah, tough racing out there. I know there's a lot of contact. It's a tricky track to get around, especially it looked like the track temperature was a little high. The truck was a little slick out there tonight. Talk about the race. Talk about how the racing was and how the track was here tonight.
It was very tight. The truck, I was having trouble turning. It was just me. The truck was really tight for me, and I was trying to back up my corners to make it better. And yeah, it was the first stage was clean, but after the second stage, it got aggressive.
Yeah, it always does here at Pocono. It's one of those tracks where people just want to get to the front, try to use as much their tires as they can, especially there at the end. But a great run, great showing for the SNH boys here tonight, and a great run overall for you and your team. Before we let you go, though, anyone you want to thank? Any shots you got to give here tonight?
I want to thank my teammates Jay and Joey and Epilepsy Foundation and Manny Ray's in the truck, and appreciate you broadcasting.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the top 3. Good luck next week as we move on to Atlanta.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
So as your third place finisher, Matthew Fritz. Let's bring in your second place finisher, the one and only Brian Merle Jr. Brian, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Holy moly.
Man,
what a finish.
What a finish. Right place, right time for you. You had a good run coming there towards the end, and the seas just kind of parted in front of you, and you're able to get yourself a second place finish here. Talk about your race. I know it didn't look like you started off very well. I know you pounded the outside wall at some point. I saw the heavy damage to the right side. You got caught up in a couple things, but able to drive yourself back up to the front.
Patience. That was the key to this race. I got into practice a little early. I believe I may have been the first one registered, actually. And I just worked on qualifying. I wanted to start up front. I was P2 in final practice. Had a really good lap time, pretty close to what Cody put down for qualifying. And then I just laid an egg in qualifying. I missed the bottom getting into 1, and that just kills your lap time here. So I think I started somewhere around like 15th, 16th, somewhere in there. And I was trying to be easy on the tires. At 10 laps to go in the stage, it was time to turn it up. And I believe it was Belk in the 77 were racing side by side, and I just got tight behind them and bounced off the exit of 3 or 4, whatever corner that is, and Joe got in the back of me, and it just kind of started being a trickle down effect there. I just kept getting stuck in between people, and a lot of hard racing. There's some good racing. There's some people that could probably benefit from some AI practice. Um, you know, towards the end there, we had a lot of cautions, but the laps we did have green, they were fun. You had to be aggressive. You had to be up on the wheel and hope you don't make a mistake. And I made way too many mistakes to come home P2. So I'm just happy to get that P2.
A very, very mature answer out of the driver of the 13 here tonight. But no, great run tonight, Brian. Just fantastic to see you make your way back up to the front. Especially like you said, there was a lot of hard racing, a lot of good racing, and it was a blast to watch. I know the people watching at home really enjoyed the race here tonight. The chat was just absolutely lighting up. So before I let you go, Brian, anyone you want to thank, any shout you want to give here tonight?
Oh, I gotta thank my new teammates. I haven't got to do an interview yet. They've been killing it. Joe, Eddie, and D Wright. Of course, Dev, kept me on board one more season. I think this is a prove it season. It's basically what he told me at Daytona. So hopefully I can get one spot better, man. I got to count up these second place finishes, but I'm really getting sick of them. I can tell you that much. Feeling a little like Casey Kane with way less talent. So, it happens, and that win will come. It's been a while since I drove into victory lane, and I mean, it's got to be coming. I've been running way too good, and so thanks to those guys. D Wright, he fixed me quick in practice, so I can't thank him enough. Joe gave me some pointers, and picked up some speed, and I got to thank my girlfriend and my son, Lindsay and Brody, for allowing me to do this 2 nights a week. My mom, she watches, everybody that watches you guys, Intensity, and the whole admin team. We got to clean some things up, but it's good to see the numbers back, and you know, we'll get there. We'll get back to good clean racing. I think and the sponsors, Eddie, Morris Customs, and Dev's Sports Cards, and my barbershop, Michaela Barbershop.
Awesome, man. Before I let you go, one last thing. How's your brother? Because I know he took that wild ride through the air. I don't know if you had a chance to see that yet.
Yeah, it happened right in front of me, and I was like, asking him on the radio, "Are you okay?" And he didn't answer. And then we heard, "I've got a virtual middle finger hanging out the window." So I think he's all right. I called it ejecto cedo cuz he called it ejecto trucko cuz. So
That was
this is a Pocono thing. This has happened, I think, in iOS to Isaiah Gill. He did like an ejecto through the pits, and it just happens here for some reason.
that was a little more than an ejecto through the pits. I'm going to go back and watch that because I think that's one of those ones. For those who've been around the sim long enough to know about this, that's one of those ones that broke the sound barrier. That was I'm going to say the truck went well over 1,000 miles an hour. So.
Well, it's a good thing he doesn't race in VR like I do, because he would have probably been puking on that ride.
For sure. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up position, and go celebrate with your team.
Thanks. I also want to thank Jay Stinson for wrecking Belk there and giving me that P2. I was pretty happy with P4, but got to thank those guys for racing way harder than I was.
Have a great night, man.
Thanks.
So that was your second place finisher, Brian Merle Jr. Let's talk to your winner here tonight, driver of the 68 Dev Sports Cars machine, Devin Butchno. Dev, you got Josh up in the booth, got me?
Yes, sir. I got you, brother.
Man, what a wild race. I know there's a lot of cautions, but there's a lot of great racing there as well. Talk us through the last few laps there, especially I know you were battling there with a couple teammates, and who was it there? The 35 of Scott there towards the end.
Yeah, no, we thankfully our strategy played out to even give us a chance to be up there at the end. I think we pit with about 20 to go, and I just didn't know if we'd get the green flag racing that we needed. There's some great racing on track. It's just a lot more cautions than we're used to. We really gotta hopefully get that cleaned up because I'm sure you can attest to it. When we're green flag, it's some of the best racing I think the league's seen across both series so far, and it's only been a week and a half since we've been away from Daytona. But yeah, I was just hoping we get the cautions or the green flag, and we restarted on the outside lane on that second to last restart. Got a really good jump, and then Brett wasn't doing him any favors, and Matt wasn't doing me any favors because he's with wasted. So I knew he would race me a little hard to let Cody try and get away. It's so hard to complete the pass on the bottom. You can get almost clear up to getting your quarter panel to their right front or left front, and they just get the run down these long straightaways, and then the two of them pit, and I knew it was just get a good restart and hopefully get back to the white flag, which we were able to do. So yeah, a lot of things needed to go right for this one for sure.
Well, it seemed like this was typical Pocono, where all the passing was either done in turn 1 or turn 2. Turn 3 was just a no pass zone. Was that kind of what you were seeing there as well? Just not being able to get the power down off of turn 3 to complete the pass?
Yeah, no, turn 3 is definitely a defending corner. If you're falling back or you're struggling, just take that middle lane and give the guy the bottom because you're just going to drive by him down the front stretch. And happened to Eddie, almost got Eddie for I think it was third or fourth in the stage. And even those two guys I was trying to pass at the end, Brett and Matt, just couldn't do anything on the bottom there. It's sketchy in one because it is, it's the most banked corner at this place. So there's a very fine line of driving in hard and keeping it out of their left side door. And then the tunnel turn, you can go side by side. I don't know if you'll make it out side by side, but you can go side by side. You just gotta whip it around. Pocono, I don't think Pocono gets enough love. I know you can get pretty spread out, but it's pretty fun to whip these trucks around here for sure.
Yeah, Pocono is one of my favorite tracks on the sim for sure, and we actually saw quite a bit of 3-wide racing through the tunnel turn tonight. So pretty wild race, a lot of great racing as I mentioned. I do want to ask what happened to Joe Wright there because I know he retired early. Was that not mechanical, but a technical issue or what there?
Admin team will have to discuss that. We'll talk about it in the SCSRA trailer. It's just one of those in sim things, hard to explain. Things happen quick when we're out here and we're adminning racing at the same time, and yeah, it's just one of those weird things.
Gotcha. Well, again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Before we let you go, Dev, anyone you want to thank? Any shots you want to give?
Yeah, I just want to shout you out, Josh. I know we went a little late tonight. I apologize. Got to get this racing cleaned up a little bit. I know everyone's excited. We got all kinds of talent up through this series, both series. We can't wait till we get this cleaned up a bit and get a little more green flag because I think there's really some really good racing left on the table. So just want to thank you guys, everyone at Intensity. You guys do a great job. I want to shout out Dev Sports Cards, Morse Customs. If you need any paints, go to Eddie. New Craftline Jewelry and Design, Level Up Subs. Yeah, I want to thank my parents. I'm going to go watch this with them. They always get a kick out of it. They love listening to you. They love watching. My girlfriend Kaylee and everyone that watches. I see the viewership's gone up quite a ton this season. We have a lot of rookies with a lot of family and friends watching, which I think is awesome for not only the league but for you guys. So I appreciate everyone that's a part of this. We're gonna get some more green flag racing here coming soon.
How about this? 6 rookies in the top 10. That's a pretty incredible number right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed from these rooks, man. It's I think we're going to see, come playoff time, the winners and just the parity throughout. On top of, the rookies we have in the next gen as well. I'm very excited. There's a lot of guys that are fast. There's some guys that are fresher to the sim that are just getting valuable laps, track time. But there's some rookies here that are really quick, man. They're going to win some races. We're going to have a first time winner here soon enough.
For sure. And we look forward to having that happen within the next couple of weeks. But again, Dev, congrats on the win and hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. We'll see you tomorrow, Josh.
Have a great night.
You too, buddy.
So there's your winner, Devin Butchno here at Pocono Raceway. Of course, we want to thank everybody again for joining us here tonight. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, we do appreciate you joining us here each and every Tuesday night. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Check out our links down below to our partners, including the race sponsors and the series sponsors. And of course, as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.